coming up on LA This Week.
We're excited that today Kedron is going to become a testing site here in South LA for the COVID virus. It's significant that we're going to be a walk-up center, making it more accessible.
Some schools have more resources to do online learning, some schools have less. So you're going to see probably a widening of the educational divide, and alongside the widening of the educational divide, I would predict a widening of sort of health divide as well.
Me and my mom are both out of work right now, so this helping out has really made a big difference on the community.
Hello everyone, I'm Maria Hall Brown. Here's what's happening in LA this week. Channel 35 and the City of LA are here to keep you up to date on the latest developments on coronavirus. Mayor Eric Garcetti is holding daily briefings with the latest information for all Angelenos. Video streams are available at lacityview.org/live, as well as facebook.com/mayorofla. On the internet, the best resources are publichealth.lacounty.gov and coronavirus.lacity.org. Stay informed. Sign up for Notify LA to receive emergency alerts. Simply text your zip code to 888-777 to sign up. Find out more at emergency.lacity.org. Mayor Eric Garcetti announced the Safer at Home order just about a month ago, and most Angelenos are staying the course, with large public gatherings and non-essential work grinding to a halt. The work of our local heroes has just begun. Our first stop was in San Pedro, where Councilmember Joe Buscaino helped give away the gift of groceries. Take a look.
Here, in partnership with the LA Harbor Boys and Girls Clubs, my office, and an angel donor, Chuck Ursini, who is a San Pedro native, we're able to provide 1,000 $100 gift cards to Vons.
We have a lot of families that we serve here, so it was easy for us to contact those families to come out and receive some of those gift cards.
We clearly know with the COVID-19 pandemic and the crisis that our residents are facing, we want to ease that pain and panic. We want to make sure that families who are suffering economically have money to go and buy some groceries.
Me and my mom are both out of work right now, so this is a huge impact that is unforeseen for so many families, and this helping out has really made a big difference on the community.
It's pretty important because we don't know right now if how long we're going to be working, and we have a big family. We have 5 kids. We live with my parents, so this is a very nice thing they're doing. This is very important.
City employees, God bless them, are stepping up as disaster service workers today. The LA Harbor has a relief fund. I encourage all Channel 35 viewers to go to la15th.com, la15th.com. It's the LA Harbor Relief Fund GoFundMe. They could visit the GoFundMe and make a contribution.
I think that it's just wonderful that they could come out and help in such an unsure time. People really appreciate it. It really does mean a lot.
We're really blessed to have such a resilient, giving community. Those who are giving to this cause, God bless you.
Next, we visited Council District 1, where Team Cedillo lent a hand to the Boys and Girls Club of LA. Even in the rain, volunteers manned a newly erected grab-and-go center till the groceries were all gone.
Today we are putting together bags of food to distribute to the community.
We're providing food for the seniors and those who are in need.
We have for many years distributed food on Thursdays, but the need has basically exploded with the coronavirus, and we are getting calls nonstop.
We're seeing quite a few more people coming out compared to what we usually do weekly.
Councilmember Gil Cedillo's office has partnered with us to provide hams for families. We're going to be expanding to 2 days a week of food distribution thanks to their help, including prepared meals. So those will be delivered to seniors thanks to Councilmember Gil Cedillo's office.
This club was given to the community. It dates back to 1950. The Chandler family, the LA Times, dedicated this facility to the Lincoln Heights community. And it's been a blessing, and it's as it was and it still is.
We're putting all the safety precautions in place with the distancing. We have tape marking the ground every 8 feet to give a little more than the 6 feet distance. We have doubled up tables so that the staff and volunteers have enough distance between the people who are receiving the food. Spraying and disinfecting the clipboards for people to write their information on. We have disposable little mini pencils, and we're making appointment times to slow the flow of the lines. So we're trying to think of all the possible ways that we can ensure people's safety. We have a website and a charity page set up for people to donate. It's www.labgc.org/donate.
After we are all past this current situation, we're looking forward to having all the families come and be a part of the Boys and Girls Club.
It was a drive-by feeding in Pacoima last night. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Dozens of families queued up in cars to receive free hot meals, courtesy of Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez and the Khalsa Care Foundation. The drive-through service put a creative spin on maintaining social distance while caring for the community.
Well, I'm very happy that all these programs are helping us a lot going through these tough times. They're good people, good places.
So today we're having a drive-through hot meal program here at the Sikh Communities Gurdwara here in the community of Pacoima. They have been a very generous partner historically here in our community, and so when so many families are really struggling right now to make ends meet, when we have a situation like this pandemic, this is when the community rallies to come together to support those that are in most need. And so this hot meal program is really one of the only ones of its kind, and I think it's going to be of tremendous benefit to folks in the community of Pacoima and the surrounding neighborhoods to get their families the much needed nutritional support that they need. It's a vegetarian meal that's going to be provided free of charge, and we're actually doing a drive-through service where the meals will be packed based on the number of individuals that are requesting meals.
Today we are serving rice, beans, along with vegetables.
We're just maintaining good social distancing practice and make sure that we do everything possible to support people where they need the support without risking anyone's health.
There's no need to be shy or afraid to come. If you need it, you should come and get a hot meal.
While the Safer at Home order has created uncertainty for some of the biggest restaurants and retail chains, it's the little guy, the local neighborhood restaurants who have quickly become the essential meal providers for many high-risk residents. Over in Council District 8, El Megalino Inc. is making a big difference.
Estamos ayudando este día para la comunidad por el representante de este sector 8. Él nos ha hecho posible a nosotros, los de los pequeños negocios, en ayudarnos para que podamos hacer cierta cantidad de comida para las personas mayores que no pueden salir a la calle por la enfermedad que está pasando, por este virus. La comida que hace el migueleño es bajo en sodio, no azúcar, pues para las personas, especial para las personas mayores. No lleva grasa, va preparado con aceite de olivo, que es lo que yo uso acá en el restaurante. trato la manera de llevársela lo más caliente que puedo, porque pues, verá, el transporte y todo eso. Les preparamos pollo, carne muy poca, pescado, más que todo. Estoy muy contenta con ayudar. Tenemos que hacerlo para ayudar a la comunidad. Muchos de ellos nos dan las gracias, dicen que se sienten a gusto, contentos. Se les ve en sus caritas, pero está bien. Y lo seguiré haciendo si Dios me lo permite, porque yo también ya soy una persona mayor.
I appreciate what the city and Mr. Marquis has done, but what I appreciate more is people calling us and thanking us. I think that it's paying itself. If somebody calls you and tells you, oh my God, your food is awesome, that's real good. And this program is helping a lot of people, and they're very, very grateful.
One of the best byproducts of community crisis is seeing how people from all walks of life coalesce and unify to meet impending challenges. But people of color experience an extra unique burden in times of social strife. I had the privilege of sitting down with Dr. Gilbert Gee, professor of the Department of Community Health Sciences at UCLA, to get his insights on race and the pandemic.
Donald Trump, he had all kinds of warnings and and ain't do nothing. The whole month of February, he ain't do Money is more important than people's lives.
I think people of color are always affected more adversely.
There's nothing nobody can do about it, so you may as well accept it.
It's just been more stressful than anything.
I'm delighted to be joined today by Dr. Gilbert Gee from UCLA. He's in the Fielding School of Public Health with an actual expertise in environmental health studies and racism. What is racism? I mean, there's obviously what we know from a generic standpoint.
It's essentially a system of domination originating from slavery as an example, where it's really about power and control. Both economic and social and cultural control. There's the direct effects of hate crimes on death and injury, but there's also the spillover effects of just unfair treatment, racial slurs that have direct health effects. These links between discrimination and health effects are evident for African Americans, Latinos, and Asian Americans.
Is there a reason or something that the body generates when somebody is put in a situation of fear?
When we have these repeated instances of stress over and over, it can actually wear down the body. So imagine the analogy of a car, right? So with a car, if you step on the accelerator, the car is designed to go. But if you're always mashing on the accelerator, eventually the engine's going to wear down, the tires are going to wear down. Same thing with our bodies. We think that the stress from discrimination leads to something called allostatic load, which is essentially wear and tear on our bodies from chronic stress. And that in turn affects other systems in our body, like the immune system, the brain, and all these other things. And that's part of the reason why we see a diversity of health problems related to experiencing discrimination.
There is a possibility, a very real possibility, that the elements of racism that have played into this particular situation are going to have terrible effects on communities as well.
Discrimination can make people more reluctant to seek care and to be out and about. So if people are worried that their providers are going to discriminate against them, they may be less likely to go seek care. Health is also the product of where you live and where you work and where you play. People with high levels of education tend to be healthier than people with low levels of education. People with less education are sicker compared to people with more education. We might see that gap widening as a result of this, right? Because schools are disrupted, but some schools have more resources to do online learning, some schools have less. So you're going to see probably a widening of the educational divide, and alongside the widening of the educational divide, I would predict a widening of sort of health divide as well.
As individuals, how can we be sensitive so that, we as people make sure that we are not making things worse?
First of all, just have a spirit of generosity. Think about being a little more generous with some of your basic supplies and understanding that germs don't respect political boundaries or respect identities.
But maybe this is an opportunity for us to become more clear and more aware of these disparities that we weren't necessarily paying attention to before.
Our public health infrastructure is not where we would want it to be. You know, the United States spends more on healthcare than any other country in the world, but our health indicators are actually not really good.
Hopefully, on the other side of this, it will not be as critical as it feels right now.
I agree 100%.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
You just got to get out there and try. The thing is not to sit home stagnant. If you're going to sit home, make the best of the time that you have.
CD11 wants to try social distancing in the streets. LA Metro cuts back on services. And Lionsgate Studios streams free films on Fridays. All this coming up next on City Beat.
Los Angeles City Councilman Mike Bonin is calling for the city's streets to be more open for residents to walk and bike during the coronavirus pandemic. In conjunction with the Los Angeles Department of Transportation, the goal would be to make the streets accessible to foot and bicycle traffic for families that don't have yards at their homes and have found it difficult to get outdoors to exercise in the midst of the pandemic. Any plan considered would still require people to practice social distancing and to follow within the city's safer at-home orders. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, LA Metro has increased the cleaning regimen on all buses, railways, and trains. With the stay-at-home order in place for all non-essential workers, Metro bus service levels have been reduced 15 to 20%. And Metro plans to strategically adjust select trips across the system to minimize inconvenience to riders. Starting Sunday, April 19th, Metro will begin running a modified Sunday service schedule every day of the week, plus some rapid, express, and local bus lines that normally do not run on Sundays. Metro Rail will run every 12 minutes between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. and every 20 minutes at other times. For more transit information, visit thesource.metro.net. With movie theaters shuttered due to COVID-19, Santa Monica-based film studio Lionsgate has announced a team-up with Fandango and YouTube to live stream 4 of its most popular library titles free of charge on Fridays at 6 p.m. Actress Jamie Lee Curtis will host Lionsgate Live, A Night at the Movies, on Lionsgate's YouTube page and Fandango's Movie Clips YouTube page. Free streaming begins Friday, April 17th with the dystopian action flick, The Hunger Games. Curtis will be joined by guest celebrities and YouTube personalities, according to Lionsgate. Each week's program will also feature interactive opportunities for viewers, like real-time fan chats via YouTube Live, live tweeting at Lionsgate, and movie trivia and movie-themed challenges.
Los Angeles has been in a constant state of alert for more than a month now, and residents have been stepping up to provide the essentials most people need: food, shelter, and hope. But there's one thing every community always needs in a time of crisis: blood.
So the Westchester YMCA, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, connected with the Red Cross of Greater Los Angeles to let them know that they can use any of our locations as frequently as they'd like in order to collect blood.
Since the coronavirus shut down, we've had so many drives canceled on us because we're usually at high schools or places of business.
In April, we're doing it every Thursday, and in May, we're doing it every Wednesday.
My wife and I came this morning. We live in the neighborhood, and we are donating blood because we think this is a vital thing to do in this time of COVID.
We're making sure that everyone's temperature is being checked before they enter the door.
My temperature was taken a second time as I was interviewed.
They put us in chairs that were 6 feet apart while we were waiting.
It's pretty limited in how many people are in there.
The cots are spaced apart greater than 6 feet.
N95 masks.
Everyone has gloves on.
Wiping down all our stations after every donor.
I felt really safe, and I came out of here feeling like I did a good thing, but I didn't put myself in huge harm's way.
Honestly, I think they're doing everything that they could, and I don't believe that there's a chance that you could get the virus in these circumstances.
We're used to people being afraid to come because of the needles, but the virus is adding another layer to that. So yes, we understand that you're being anxious, but please understand that we're professionals and we know how to do it right.
The response has been overwhelmingly positive. Each of the scheduled events thus far have been full. We've had over 100 people donate blood over the past 2 events.
I feel like I want to help with this pandemic. I feel kind of helpless right now, and it's the thing I can think to do that can make a difference.
I can't really do much in my own field, so this is one way to help out other people. It makes me feel personally good.
It's just so heartwarming that 2 of the world's oldest nonprofit organizations are able to come together and serve our community needs during this time of crisis.
It's the consensus of every medical expert that the way to get ahead of COVID-19 is more testing. We need to test the high-risk population. We need to test those with symptoms. We need way more testing, and we need it now. Well, testing has arrived in a community hit hard by the virus. Councilmember Curran Price was on hand to open the very first testing site in Council District 9.
We're excited that today Kedron is going to become a testing site here in South LA for the COVID virus. It's significant that we're going to be a walk-up center, making it more accessible. Individuals still need to register and get an appointment, but they'll be able to do it right here in South LA.
We have been providing services here at Kedron for the last 55 years. With respect to COVID-19, we just started this morning. We received our test kits, so we've gotten our referrals from the city, and we're walking them through the process. So typically what happens is, if you're interested in getting a test, you would call the mayor's office, and they will register you for the testing via their website. They will make an appointment, and they will give you the name and address of Kedron Community Care Clinic, and then you would come down here at your prospective time, and you would then be pre-screened, and then from there we direct you to the testing. If you don't have an appointment and you live in the surrounding community and you would like to get tested, we test you at no charge. We just take down your information and we test you.
I think we should all be excited to know that the curve appears to be bending, and it's bending because people have been staying away, not congregating in crowds, wearing masks, practicing social distancing, all the things that need to happen if we're going to get out of this crisis. And so there are good positive signs all across the country, especially here in Southern California, and especially here in Los Angeles.
Being a member of a historically disenfranchised race can turn a public crisis into a personal catastrophe. When you are a person who routinely experiences injustices at the hands of others, those injustices don't simply stop because the world at large is getting sick. And the weight of those mistreatments takes a toll more rapidly in a crisis. So what do? How do you handle the added stress from a world that has always been prejudiced towards one group or another, at one time or another? I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, founder of the Dr. Bryant Foundation and the Dr. Bryant Institute. It is so wonderful to have you here. There's so much going on in the mental health world in regards to this pandemic. How are we doing? How is it looking from your vantage point?
On the Black and Brown community, it's really taken a toll because there are already a lot of underlying health issues and underlying mental health issues that have to do with trauma that was already there pre-pandemic. That was already something that they were not getting treatment for because of their lack of access to medical care, health care, which stems from our systemic, health care disparities that continues to stay on the back burner of the American health system. And because of those things, now that we enter a pandemic, you take the weight and the trauma that was already there prior to this and multiply that by 100 or sometimes 200 times, depending on the individual, the family, the community, and the neighborhood.
This pandemic is affecting adults in terms of their physical health. Children are affected as well. So what should parents be looking for, in particular in minority homes, to see what's going on with their children? Because this is pretty terrifying for a lot of little guys.
Yeah, it really is. The most important thing that a parent can do or parents can do is to make sure that their anxiety level is managed, because little kiddos mimic what we do, and they learn the culture of how to deal with crisis through how we deal with crisis. And so if we can create a narrative that's really fun and really fluffy for ourselves, then our kids will also experience that reality. Let me create that narrative. Let me listen to the news for information purposes, but not keep it on as a hobby and something I'm listening to over and over again. Let me make sure that we're listening to positive audiobooks, or we're watching positive films together as a family. Let's implement board games. Kids still deserve the right to not have to be weighed down by all of the outside world disparities that are going on.
It's been really wonderful to talk with you, and I'm sure you'll get lots and lots and lots of support for all these great things that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Be safe.
Great job.
My pleasure. The Broad Stage raises the curtain at home. AFI invites you to its movie club. And check out VHS 1 on AXS. All that coming up next on Virtual Things to Do.
Live stream performances won't be stopped during the pandemic, and the Broad Stage has a treat for you. Their virtual series, The Broad Stage at Home, presents music, poetry, interviews, and archival footage with brand new content introduced each week. To learn more of this program, visit thebroadstage.org. Learning about movies is just as fun as watching them, and the AFI Movie Club has trivia to educate and entertain the biggest of movie connoisseurs. With tabs of streaming services provide on where to find classic films, AFI provides a community that can enjoy movies and perhaps inspire the next generation of filmmakers. Head to afi.com/movie club for more information. VHS is back. Well, in a 21st century version, that is. AXS Virtual Home Sets is an easy-to-use home live stream service with information on different acts and where to find them online to easily connect you to great performances and music. With an extensive library, in case you missed any great acts, AXS Virtual Home Sets prevents virtual festivals to live stream sets. Stay connected and check out live.axs.com. And those are some virtual things to do.
Here at Channel 35, we stay committed to bringing you the best information possible during the COVID-19 outbreak. Remember that you can sign up with Notify LA to receive emergency alerts. To sign up, just text your zip code to 888-777. You can also find reliable information about the resources available from the City of Los Angeles at these websites: publichealth.lacounty.gov, coronavirus.lacity.org, or at emergency.lacity.org. That's it for this edition. I'm Maria Hall Brown. From all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. See you next time for more LA This Week.